Hello, everybody, and we are back. Hello, welcome to twitch.tv/Simodian, where we play Kingdom Death Simulator. It has been far too long since I've seen y'all, so just to get that out of the way at first, uh, I wasn't feeling too great for a while there. Had some medical issues that I needed to attend to. No worries, everything is good. Just gotta keep on top of things, take care of myself. So y'all need to make sure you take care of yourselves too. Um, Once I was feeling better, could have gotten back to streaming. Had a vacation coming up. Didn't want to come back for a week or two just to take a couple weeks off again. So decided to just take a full break, come back energized, come back recharged, and ready to kick some ass. So first of all, thank you everybody who has been supporting. Since the last stream, I've gotten some shout outs on other streams, gotten some offline follows. So, Twitch friends, thank you so much, as well as YouTube friends. Still seeing views coming in, still getting comments on my videos. Lets me know people are still out there watching, kind of kept me energized and excited to come back. Even though most of those comments were pointing out rules I got wrong, I still appreciate you. This is how we learn. Any interaction I can get, any more knowledge coming through that we can share amongst the community, always greatly appreciated. Um, so, kick things off as always with our Let's see if I remember my chat commands. Yeah, that's the one. Kingdom Death Simulator and Kingdom Death Monster. The board game is based on our very mature properties. There is a lot of mature imagery, descriptions and depictions of gore, violence, as well as descriptions of mental trauma. So please, first and foremost, take care of yourselves. If any of that is too much for you, perfectly understand if you want to move along. Continuing on that front, Kingdom Death is a intensely complicated game for 4 people to play. When you're only one person, that makes it that much more complicated. I likely, going to get some rulings wrong, get some things incorrect, but that's all part of the process. Learning and repeating these things over and over again will only help make it second nature going forward. And additionally, I will do my best to try and keep things in line. If I can kind of rewind something in a way that is fair, I will do so. Otherwise, we kind of just have to accept that a mistake was made, move on, and try to address that in the future. So that is the preamble out of the way. Now for the fun part of me remembering what the heck was going on. So I know we are set up, ready for our first Nemesis encounter with our good friend the Butcher. But I also recall last time around in our Lantern Year 3 encounter, we did have the Nightmare Tree out on the board. And I completely forgot in the post game that we were supposed to get this Lonely Fruit. Notice that when I was kind of cleaning things up and setting up for this stream. So this is something that we probably should have done in the previous settlement phase, neglected to do so, but after the Butcher fight, we'll take care of this in the upcoming settlement phase. I have no idea. I have no experience at all with the Lonely Tree. It's an expansion I do not own in real life, and it's not even something I've seen really in some of the other videos and streams that I've watched over the years, because I know it doesn't come up very often. So excited to see what happens here. As for the Butcher himself, while I'm remembering what all my keybinds are, oh yes, one other thing. There was a fun little present delivered just the other day. I forget exactly what it's called. Yes, the Seeing Lens. So what this means is now, at any point, I can just hit the F3 button and search for things. Hey, I need some bleeding tokens. Okay, let's just grab some bleeding tokens. Bam, here's one. Or like see how like prior to every campaign, I spend a bunch of time grabbing all of the models I'm going to need. So hopefully this cuts down on that. Like, oh, hey, we're fighting the Dragon King. Let me just grab the Dragon King. And it even tells me where it is. This is something they're even working on forward thinking, where you're going to have multiple game rooms set up at any given time. It'll tell you what room some of this stuff is in. But yeah, oh, hey, I need my Dragon King mini. Well, let me just grab it. Here's the Dragon King. Thank you. Although I am noticing a bit of a glitch. I cannot scroll around when I have it picked up. Is that the same for... Yeah, I can scroll around when I have anybody else picked up. So something the Dark Architect is probably still working on. Love this model too. All right, back to the shelf you go. And that also means I don't have to be as particular about keeping the cabinet organized. I tried very hard for quite a while when I started up these streams in this game of keeping the cabinet organized so I would know where to find everything. I think I have most of that actually still kind of set up the way I had it before. But if I ever have to reset the room, it kind of resets all of that. And I've done that operation one too many times, and I don't want to do it anymore. So hopefully this means I won't have to do that anymore. So that's fun. As for the butcher fight itself, I know it's going to be a struggle. Luck has not quite gone my way in several factors. Our settlement is a bit low on people, and even lower on functional fighting humans. So normally I would try to like send in a B team. I don't have a B team. So I'm sending in who I've got. They're all experienced fighters, and hopefully that's not going to come back and bite me in the butt of losing what few good people I have left. Additionally, gear is not great. Good news, we do have 2 full tanking sets, 2 sets of rawhide, so that will be helpful. But weapons are few and far between. I've got a bone blade, a bone blade, a bone blade with some bone darts, and I only have one character with like an actual decent weapon. So that's going to be interesting. Beyond that, I think that's... Oh, let's see who we got. Who are we bringing along? Because I'll be honest with you, I don't remember. Uh, we have Gertrude, who has not selected her weapon proficiency yet. She should have experience, shouldn't she? Or did I mess that up? No, she doesn't have XP. Messed up my overlays. That's... Or, oh. Oh, I see. So, uh-oh. Interesting. So I know there were some issues while we were offline with the cloud saves. And I think we might have lost some character stats. Or did we? No, I honestly don't know. um, or am I really bringing along 3 new people? Chat, help me out here. Someone has to remember what's going on. Maybe I am bringing along 3 new people and I forgot to update that? I don't remember. Check the tapes. I can't check the tapes while I'm... I can check the tapes while I'm live. Let's pull up YouTube real quick. All right, chat. We're checking YouTube to figure this out. Where's my videos? All right, so here's the most recent one. Let's not double up our volume. Okay, so last fight did have Rami and Gertrude in it. So I'm going to assume the stats I have on my spreadsheet are accurate and the character sheets are not. So let's do some quick updates here. Gertrude should have 2 XP, 1 courage, 1 understanding. I think the rest of those stats are yeah, everybody has basically those same stats. Okay, so Gertrude, one of our tanks. Nothing super special going on here. I think we're going to try and get her shield proficiency. That sounds correct. Because she has the shield. I know survival and stuff isn't accurate, but I never really track that in between fights on the character sheets. Who else have we got here? Rami. Rami should have 1 XP and 1 courage. Looks like nothing else special. Wait a second. Why is that? I think I've got these two backwards. Gertrude should have 2 evasion. Rami should have 3. We also have Marina, who also has 2 XP. And I think she was taking Grand Weapon. I think that's what the Rib Blade is. We'll double check that in a second. 2 Courage, 0 Understanding, so that is accurate. Yes, Rib Blade is a Grand Weapon. And then finally, Daniel should have 1 XP and nothing else special about him. Correct. I mean, he should have his natural 1 strength, 1 evasion that everybody has. All right, already right off the bat, kind of faffing about here, trying to figure. Yes, Barry and Zara should be over here. Yeah, Barry is right there. Zara is right there. I forget why they're not joining us, but hey. I'm going to have to go back and double check some of these other stats, but that's for another time. We also had what's going on here with Marina. She has tough, which means severe injury, unless you roll a 1, add +1. Nice. And squeamish, cannot depart with stinky gear. And Rib Blade is not stinky, and she doesn't have much else with her. All right. I think that means we're good to go. And when we set up the butcher, we randomly rolled the dead monster, which is very nice. Kind of only getting half the benefit here. Dead monster means we can start anywhere on the showdown board that we want. Don't have to start along the pre-described areas. And survivors may go first. Nemesis encounters, survivors go first anyway. But being able to set ourselves up for some preliminary attacks, definitely going to be helpful. So let's see where we want people to be. Marina is going to be our primary damage dealer. So she's going to start in the blind spot. Rami and Gertrude are our tanks. So it seems like this is a good place for them to be. Gertrude will probably try to collect the monster corpse. And then poor Daniel doesn't have... Oh no, Daniel has some cool stuff. I forgot. We got the wisdom potion, and we do have all the stuff we need. So we get to play the showdown with the top card of the hit location deck revealed. So that's nice. And for the butcher, of course, all of his special goodies. Berserker, draw an extra AI card every turn. Fast target. At the beginning of his turn, we reshuffle his hit locations, so that wisdom potion is actually going to be really cool. And dreaded trophies. When the survivor dies, place the miniature on this card, and then bad things happen. We also have infectious lunacy. When we suffer brain damage, we gain lunacy tokens. And then when we have 3 or more lunacy tokens, we suffer the frenzy brain trauma. Not a lot of insanity going on for us. So expect that to happen sooner rather than later. Also, sticking with the somewhat bad luck, not only do we not have weapons, we also still don't have dash or surge. Surge is super great for the butcher, but oh well. We'll see how that goes. So do we want Daniel? I think we want to keep Daniel at bone dart range. So he's just going to kind of hang out over here, kind of out of danger. What's the range on the dart? 6. Yeah, he's within range. Okay, so that's good. So I think we are ready to start things off. And we will start off by having Gertrude collect the monster corpse. So she gets a great 2. Nothing. Awesome. Thanks, Gertrude. Next up, might as well have Marina do her thing. She is our primary damage dealer. So Rib Blade, slow, only rolling 1 die, hitting on a 6+. She is in the blind spot, so hitting on a 5. Nothing. Marina has 2 courage, so she's probably the best one to be doing this. All right. So just looking for that good old 5. All right, perfect hit. Good start. So yes, we already know what this is. So Butcher has a toughness of 9. Ribblade has 5 strength. Also has deadly, which means it crits on a 9 or a 10. And Marina herself has +1 strength, so that is a total of 6. So we are wounding on a 3. That is a wound. And if I'm remembering correctly, I think I learned if you just press the number key above this. Nope, that's not how it works. We'll just keep doing it. Oh no, the whole deck is bugged. Oh no, what is happening? Okay. Interesting. Are we good now? Game, hello? Okay, we're just not going to try to do that anymore because that seems to be breaking something. We're just going to do it the old-fashioned way. Draw face down. There we go. Yeah, we're getting some weirdness going on with the cards, but all right, we'll keep an eye on that. I don't think red matters. Red is just the color I was given for this game, but we'll figure that out. Game's being a little weird. But a lot of updates lately, mostly bug fixes, but maybe a new bug has found its way in. But oh no, I'm not in F3 mode anymore. That's completely new. Apparently, I was pressing some buttons in F3 mode. That's fun. That's all right. We'll figure it out. Although we do get to again keep this +2 toughness to wound this location. Oh wait, we got to do the reaction on this first. So on a 3 or higher, Marina will take brain damage. That is definitely a 3 or higher. So she will take a brain damage, losing her only insanity. Not great. And she will gain an infectious lunacy. So let's see. That's all right. So +2 toughness to wound. So I think we should use the bone darts because the bone darts at least have slightly better stats than the bone blade. Yeah, let's use the bone darts. So this will hit on a 7. Doesn't matter. All right. And then the only one left is going to be Rami, who will swing his bone blade. He will be hitting on a 6. That is one hit. So we know it is this one. So +2 toughness to wound would be an 11. And then he has 1 strength plus, so we need an 8 to wound. We actually pulled it off. And then nothing else happens on this. That's weird. Why is this AI deck being so weird? I don't know. Figure it out. We will figure it out. Might just be because I've had the thing sitting here for a couple months. I should probably have like reshuffled all the decks and stuff, but is what it is. All right, so I believe that is all for our turn. We get to come around to the butcher, and yes, he will draw. Oh, that's right. Well, Gertrude didn't attack this turn, right? Gotta try and get her get a wound with that shield. Yeah. So gotta remember that when it comes around to Gertrude's turn. Also has the armor spike. Gertrude's got a lot going on. All right. Anyway. Yeah, this deck's just being weird. Hack. Closest threat facing. Closest threat could be either Gertrude or Rami. Rami has slightly better evasion. Oh, we also had. Sorry, let me do a quick rewind. Also had stone noses. So that's going to give Gertrude, Rami, and Marina an extra sanity. And Marina will also gain an extra survival. Daniel's out of luck. All right, so we will target Rami. So this is accuracy of 4. Rami has an evasion of 3, so we need 7 to hit. No hits. Nice. And then the next one. Oh, this deck is upsetting me. Hugh, closest threat facing. So again, we'll do the same thing. This one will hit on a 6. That is a hit. And I am not interested in anything going on here. So Rami will just spend a survival to dodge that one. Easy peasy. All right. Got to make sure we reshuffle this guy. Get to keep it. All right, so this is impervious, so we're not going to deal a wound. Who could use an insanity, though? Daniel could absolutely use an insanity. So I think what we might do is actually move Daniel into the blind spot and have him swing his bone blade. Just to make sure he gets a hit so he can get that off. So he'll be hitting on 5s. Yep, 1 hit. That will be the cleaver. So it is impervious, so no reason to try to roll to wound here. It just kind of happens, and he will get +1 insanity, which we absolutely need. And then we get to, again, have this revealed. The death blow, nothing super special here. So we will keep it rolling with our girl. Oh, wait, forgot. Oh, no, we did not win. Never mind. Marina, looking for that 5. Not happening. We will bring it around to Rami, looking for 6s, getting a hit. So that is on the Furious Scrag. None of this matters unless we crit, because this obviously is not the death blow. We're not going to deal 11 wounds here. So we are looking for an 8? No, 6. 8 last time because he had the +2. So 6 to wound. Didn't quite make it. All right. Uh, oh, well, that would have been nice earlier, but it is what it is. So, yes, Gertrude will be attacking with the Knuckle Shield just to try to get one wound in. Um, so she can get her weapon proficiency, and then once that is accomplished, she'll switch over to the Bone Blade, just because that's obviously a slightly better weapon. Although the Knuckle Shield does roll 3 dice, but it only hits on a 7, and it has very little strength. So 7's got 2 hits. All right. So we know this one, and all right. So we might as well start with the Butcher's Mask, or do we? I mean, we're unlikely to wound this, but I feel like this is going to happen either way. I think we take the chance on this one, so we might have a better. I don't know. We'll just do the Butcher's Mask. Um, it's not really that terrible as a failure anyway, because the chances here are so astronomically low. So we are at a strength of 2, so we need a 7 to wound on the Butcher's Mask. Oh, that was very close. Okay, so full move towards the attacker, already there. The Butcher ends its movement adjacent, obviously. Suffer knockback 5. So it's just like a shoulder tackle. That's fine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But the interesting thing about that is there is no knockdown. That does end Gertrude's attack. She has not yet moved this round, so she can just step right back up. And that is everybody. So we can come back around to the Butcher with a hack, closest threat facing. We'll continue targeting Rami, because I think what I'm going to try to do here is Rami has better evasion, which is good against the Butcher. So we're going to keep targeting Rami until he's out of survival. Because once this triggers, you can't use survival anyway. So it doesn't make good sense to split up the damage. More that we want to like just focus on one person at a time. So this will be hitting on 7s. 1 hit. Do we want to dodge this one? I think we. Well, let's see. Let's see where it hits. It's only 1 damage. 1 damage to the legs and a bleed token. I think I'll take that for now. Just because I don't know what the second attack is going to be just yet. Screaming. It's a mood. When screaming comes into play, all non-death survivors suffer 1 brain damage per monster level. Not great. At the start, oh my god. At the start of the Butcher's turn, all non-death survivors suffer 1 brain damage per. All right, so infectious lunacy is coming quick. So is brain trauma. Discard screaming if a survivor dies. Neat. All right, so to start off with, everybody's going to take 1 brain damage. Wolf. That's a lot of infectious lunacy. The good news, and that currently counts as a wound because there's a card out of the AI deck. It will cease being a wound if anybody dies, so that's fun. Yeah. All right. So hindsight is 2020. Definitely should have dodged that attack with Robbie, but I think that was a fine. So we get to reshuffle this bad boy. Ba, 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 ba. It's not great. So I think we have our boy Rami take this attack. In case this happens. So Rami's looking for those sixes. Gets the hit. So, yep. And we said before he's looking for a 6 to wound. Would really like that. Nope. All right, so perform basic action targeting the attacker. So this will hit on 7s. Of course, a hit. So it also gains Headhunter. So that is 1 damage straight to his head. And basic action also gains another bleeding token. Did not have the materials to make bandages. So got to start keeping that in mind. I remember I had the choice either completing a second rawhide set or making bandages. I chose the rawhide set. Still don't know if that was the right move or not, but that's where we are. That's out of the way. What's next? Ooh, boy. That's a bad one. So I think what we do is we just slow play. Because that's going to be everybody. I mean, I can move Daniel out of the way. Bash and knock back 5 on everybody would be bad, though. So is there anything we can do? So we can always have... Yeah, we'll have Daniel step back out. And he might as well fecal salve, because there's no reason not to. And Gertrude will put up her block instead of attacking. So Gertrude will probably be our first target next round. Not really anything for Marina to do, but I really don't want to deal with this early in the fight. Don't know if that was the right play, but that's what we're going with. All right. Screaming. Start of the butcher's turn. Everybody takes another brain damage. So that's going to be our light brain wounds on our DPSers. Whoops. And I think that means someone has triggered infectious lunacy. Yes, that'll put 3 on Marina. So I might as well just move the second one over here. Oh, this fight is going to get real interesting real fast. All right. So suffer the frenzy brain trauma. So I believe that is this way. Nope, this way. Yes. So, frenzy brain trauma. Where is it? There it is. Gain 1d5 insanity, 1 speed token, 1 strength token. Ignore slow on melee weapons. So that Marina's going to be dishing out some damage. May not spend survival, may not use fighting arts, may not use weapon specialization or weapon mastery. Okay, so she will earn 2 insanity. 3 would have been great, but okay. And tokens. Probably just need to grab a bunch of these. Damage. And speed. Alrighty, Marina, you are becoming a beast. So I think you should Oh no, it's still the monster's turn. Monster hasn't even done anything yet. Oh boy. Oh, cool. When Lantern Frenzy comes into play, a random survivor gains the priority target token. It cannot be removed for any reason. Draw AI. While Lantern Frenzy is in play, the Butcher gains +2 movement and +1 speed. Anytime a survivor with the priority target token may sacrifice themselves and lead the Butcher far away. They perish and their gear is archived. End the showdown immediately. Skip the aftermath. Okay. Discard Lantern Frenzy if the survivor with the priority target token is killed. Okay. Technically, that's another wound. Go team. Where'd the card go? It's gone. It's missing. Oh god, I'm gonna have to reset the game after this, I think. Okay, it's still here. So I will just put it... I know what Berserker does, so I'll just put it on top of that. So he has +2 movement and +1 speed. Ruh-roh. So that puts him at 7 movement. Oh boy, this is dangerous. All right, so who's the dead man? Um, it is Marina. No! Oh no! I was counting on Marina. Oh, this is going bad. This is going so bad. All right, Marina. Enjoy that. All right, well, what's the first AI card? Bite. Doesn't matter. Targeting Marina. Marina has 1 natural evasion, so this will be hitting... Oh my god. And she can't even use Tough now because of Frenzy. All right, this is going to be a quick one. So this will be hitting on 5s. Of course they both hit. No damage, yay, but 2 random severe head injuries. Oh my. 3. She's dead. Does she have a reroll available? She does. So we're going to do that. Oh no. Oh no. A 4. She's dead. Okay. Well, this is going poorly. All right, so Marina's dead. Let's... that goes here now. Oh, God. This is done. Good news. These go away now. But that also means the Lantern Frenzy gets discarded. So this goes back here. I forgot to do the wound for that, but we just would have put it back on anyway, so yay. So now that means every attack gains after damage bleed +1. It's not too terrible. Oh, I actually should have rolled 3 dice on that. I forgot. Didn't matter. Did not matter. We do have graves, right? Yes. So good news. Marina has turned into 2 endeavors. So we still have to draw 1 more AI card. Wild Carve, closest threat facing... Well, unfortunately, that's now poor Daniel. This will also hit on 5s. Got 1 hit in there. which Daniel's just going to dodge. No reason to even think about it. Just dodge that, Daniel. Unfortunately, all survivors adjacent to the monster suffer 1 damage to a random hit location and 1 bleeding token. Good news, that's only Daniel. Take 1 damage to his body. And that was 2 AI cards. So, didn't even get a chance to swing with Marina. That's so disappointing, because she would have been able to ignore slow on the rib blade. Boo. All right. Can anybody get in front? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Not really. I'll still move Daniel around. 3, 4, 5. Oh, right. Gotta deal with this. All right, so maybe slow playing that last turn wasn't the right play in retrospect. Oh. Okay, this is bad. So we're going to put Daniel back here for now. He was here. So super dense means we don't want to attack with frail weapons. And, oh, the bone blade is not frail. Okay. The bone darts are. Oh, no, the bone blade is frail. Cool. So I think we're going to send Rami in with his founding stone. That's our best bet. Let's put Rami here. So he will be hitting on 6s. I just remembered Daniel was not a threat because he had Fugal Salve. Oh well. Too late to go back on that. So we got a hit. So we will be attempting to wound the armored pig soldier. It's super dense, but it still can be wounded. But yes, the founding stone is not frail, so we're not going to suffer anything for that. So it has 1 strength plus his 1 strength, so we're wounding on a 7. And we got it. Okay. Everything's coming up, Sam. It is not. Don't listen to me. It's not coming up, Sam. We're in danger. And the trap is next, so we're not going to be doing anything else this turn. We'll just move Gertrude up. So at least she's in facing. She will block, and Daniel will get out of there. And I've got... Is there something I could do to remind myself that he's fecal salved? What's the opposite of a priority target token? Let me grab just this. Maybe that'll help me remember. Yeah, no sense in any more attacks, but oh boy. Everybody's taking 1 brain damage. Which means Daniel's going to have to roll on the brain trauma table. Big ol' 8. Lunacy, gain a random disorder and 1d5 insanity. Or is that 1d10? No, 1d5. All right, so he will gain 1 insanity. Take it. And a random disorder. He's getting narcissistic. So this is one from the Flower Knight expansion. May not wear armor at the head location. Not great. If you're wearing armor at the head... Okay, so not debilitating now, but yeah, he's not going to be a long-term fixture in our hunting parties once we have more gear. But We can deal with that now. And now everybody is frenzied. So this fight is going to end quickly one way or the other. So that's a D5 insanity for everyone. Gertrude with a big ol' 1. Nice. Rami with a 5. That's great. And Daniel with 2 more. Perfect. So 3 is the target because that'll let us take enough brain damage to make it to the next frenzy. So unfortunately, Gertrude's going to be in a bit of trouble here. And then we got tokens. Gertrude, you can just inherit Marina's. Rami, well, you don't need 2 speeds. All right, so yeah, nothing says we can't throw 2 bone darts. Again, still got to make it around to our turn, though. I keep forgetting. That's at the start of the butcher's turn. Oh, wait. This is gone. Rewind. That's an easy one to rewind. So we get rid of this. I think we're at 1, 1, and... Whoops. That's the wrong one. 1, 1, and 0. I think that's correct. So everybody's back at 2. But that does mean this is back in the discard pile, which is unfortunate. Wound goes back onto the monster. Okay, so now we just get to do the normal turn. With Hack City, closest threat facing, that is Gertrude. Ooh boy, 4 speed for, oh my god. Okay. So 4 speed, hitting on 6s. After damage, okay, well let's see if she can survive this. I need another die. All right, hitting on 6s. Let's start with that. That would be 4 hits. Severe body injury. Okay, so one of those gets canceled due to the block that she put up. Oh my god. Okay. So that's 3 damage incoming. Hands, waste hands. We'll hold off on dodging for now. Because that was 3 damage. Or no, we should dodge one of these. We'll dodge one of those hands. Because for each hit. So it doesn't matter. It's not for each damage. Oh, so even the blocked one hits. Ooh, boy. Yeah, so we'll hold on to that survival for this going very poorly. So all 4 did hit, even if one got blocked, and if I had dodged one. So again, hitting on 6s. All right, that's only 2. That's not bad. Waist and head. We'll keep taking. We'll keep taking. So now we only roll 2 more attacks. 1 hit. Oh my god. to the body. Okay, we're still doing this. And then finally now one more. Still hits to the hands. We're still going to keep rolling here. And finally a miss. Oh, boy. That's wild. However, if the target survives Hack City, which she did... Oh, no. That was a lot of bleed. So I think we rolled 4 times. That would be 4 bleed. So we'll definitely spend the survival to dodge whatever the last damage was, because it was only 1 to make that 3 bleed. So it's not 1 bleed per hit. It's an after damage trigger, so each set is 1 bleed. So if I'm remembering correctly, that is going to be 3 bleed. Gotta remember that, unfortunately. So yeah, we will have her spend the last hit to her arms. She will have dodged that one, just so she didn't take another bleed. All right, again, lots going on. Try to remember everything. So we do get to do Legendary Lungs. That's fun. Have not seen that before. Legendary Lungs. There you are. Just suffocated by the sheer intensity of the butcher. The sensation of the butcher's attack is similar to drowning. Desperately, you gasp for air, only to be met with a mouthful of steel. The monster's attacks rain down upon you, each blow faster than the last. Despite the attack lasting only a moment, things seem to slow down. You feel numb and isolated, as if trapped in an endless body of water. There is no hope of escape, just the pressure from above on your gasping lungs. As the pounding in your chest intensifies, you recall the even rhythm of the monster's heaving chest. There's a chance you will learn something. Roll a d10. Interesting. With a nice old 3. Oh, that sucks. But oh well. 8, 9, or 10 would have been cool. But I don't think that's worth a reroll. You feel as if on the cusp of realizing something big. It teases your mind before vanishing. Gain +3 survival. Cap is 4, so she will only gain 1. Whoops. But that's fine. All right. Interesting. That was the first card of the round. Yikes. And Gaze of Truth, closest threat facing. That is Gertrude. Butcher looms over the target mere inches from their face. If the butcher is adjacent to the target, roll a d10. On a result of 3+, target suffers brain damage. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, so let's roll and work from there. That is a 3+. All right. So that is a brain damage. So that will trigger Infectious Lunacy on her. We'll get to that in a second. Knocked down. 2 Understanding. If she oh, that also triggers Insight. And a Random Disorder. So that's a lot of things all happening at once. She gains Ghostly Beauty. Double all insanity you gain, double all survival you spend. Wild. All right. Next we will do her insight. It happened during the Showdown phase, so she gets Epiphany. Watching the chaotic movements of monsters, you perceive a pattern. Perhaps its motives are not so different from your own. You can imagine yourself in the monster's place. Gain the following ability and roll on table. So we get Analyze. Start a survivor's turn. If you're adjacent to the monster, reveal the top AI card. So that's handy. That's also something I always forget. Might as well check these off while we're here. Analyze. And let's roll. With a 9, 1 permanent accuracy. That's nice. Not crazy about the double survival thing, but we could probably make that work. Also nice if we can get the shield proficiency rolling. All right, well now let's do the infectious lunacy. She'll get her tokens. And she will gain 5 insanity. All right. Gertrude standing strong after a harrowing round. Okay. Back around to our survivors. So we get to have this. All right, nothing special there. So we will have Daniel spend a survival to stand up Gertrude. Start with that. I think we just have Gertrude go first. Yeah, let's have Gertrude go. Gertrude's got this stuff going on. Let's have her. She's rolling 4 dice. Hitting on a 6 now because she has 1 accuracy. Let's do it. Let's make something happen. That is 2 hits. So, yep, one of them is this one. All right, so really nothing special happening here unless we crit on the Scrag. So might as well start with the Furious Greaves. All right, so she has +1 damage. So that's 2, 3. So she's wounding on a 6. Not bad. Didn't happen there. Didn't happen there either. All right. And then I did not forget Analyze. Unfortunately, there is no top card of the AI deck. Technically, it doesn't get shuffled until we go to draw a new one. Fairly certain that's how that rule works. Boo. All right, what do we got next? Does anybody have courage? Nope. So we might as well have Daniel try to trigger that, and somebody can just stand him up. All right, so Daniel with the bone darts, hitting on that big ol' 7. Hey, we got the hit. So he's wounding on a 5. Nice. Oh, hey, now the deck is working. Kinda. I didn't shuffle, did I? I don't remember if I shuffled. So we're just making sure we do that correctly. So this will happen. Brain damage equal to monster level and knocked down. So, should have thought about that a little. Well, it was going to happen eventually anyway. So he's got to roll on brain trauma, and then he'll trigger frenzy. Got a normal brain trauma roll of a 4. flee. You are knocked down and suffer knockback equal to your movement towards the closest board edge. Well, he's already knocked down, so that's not too bad. And then gain 1d5 insanity. So he will gain 5 insanity. And then 5 movement towards the closest board edge. Which is probably going to be this way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm not going to bother knocking him down because Rami's just going to stand him back up. I'll spend that survival now while I'm thinking of it. I also forgot that I should be rolling for Rawhide. Whoopsie. So Rami does get that back. I don't think I've used much, so. All right, and now Daniel triggers Frenzy, which means he will get another 1 insanity. And all these goodies. All right. Then all that's left is Rami. We'll have Rami scoot around to the front because he needs to start tanking a little bit of damage. Gertrude got the crap kicked out of her. All right, well, nothing we can do about that. Rami hitting on 6s. 1 hit. All right, and then he's wounding on 6 as well. Nice. Don't have to worry about the failure. We're getting there. We're slowly getting there. So, because I think the first time we fought the Butcher, we never had Infectious Lunacy trigger. So this is the interesting thing about the Butcher. Like, as the fight goes on, you just... it's Infectious Lunacy. That's what it's called. So your survivors start getting into these frenzies. So they start dealing immense amounts of damage. But the trade-off is they're also gaining +1 speed. So they're that much more likely to trigger traps. Really interesting design. Butcher's awesome. So that is everybody's turn, if I'm remembering correctly. Back around to the monster. Gaze of Truth, closest threat facing. So actually we should target Gertrude with this because Rami hasn't gone insane yet, and we want to try to hold on to that. Poor Gertrude. Yep. So that all happens again. She takes another brain damage. Get that back. Knocked down. Another 2 understanding. She's learning a lot from this. And then a random disorder again. This time she gets... Oh, it's from the Lion Knight. Unlucky. You cannot critically wound. Okay. I just remembered I forgot something last time around, but oh well, not big deal. Okay. And that's all of that, right? Yep. So, next card. Lantern Frenzy again. Ah, shoot. All right. That's Gertrude. Poor Gertrude. Not long for this world, I fear. So again, gets all those extra stats. They're still on the board. Forgot to take those off. Okay. And we get to draw another card. Yay, get to draw another card. I'm going to count that as a wound for now. Hugh, closest threat facing. Doesn't matter. Going to be Gertrude. So hitting on 5. Cool. Gertrude's just rolling around on the ground, managing to survive. All right. Back around to our turn. Rami's the only one that can spend survival. So he will spend one, get it back to stand up Gertrude. Whatever. I know what that is. All right. We've got damage incoming. Super dense. Not great. So that's got to be Rami taking that first swing with the Founding Stone. And I forgot last time around. Oh, no, it was Gertrude with the +1 accuracy. Right. Okay. All right. So Rami's just going to swing with that Founding Stone, see what happens. Hoping for 7. Nope. So then the next play here is to use the Knuckle Shield. So the Knuckle Shield is not frail. Should have started with that now that I think of it. So 4 dice hitting on 6s. That's 1 whole hit, which is all we needed. And then that is +1, +2. Right? Yes. So wounding on a 6. Got the wound. So that means a couple of things. One, we will get proficiency with the shield if she lives. And 2, Knuckle Shield, once per round, when you wound, we get a block 1. So got to remember she's got block 1 up. And then next up is our boy Daniel. Just going to step into range. Still got that fecal salve going, right? Wrong person. Oh, until you attack. Yeah, he's definitely attacked. Whatever. Archive. So throw that bone dart. Got +1 speed. Nice. So we get to roll 2 dice. Hitting on 7s. Oh, before I do that, hold on. Got to make sure we're checking that. Oh, also get to look at the top card of the AI deck, thanks to Analyze. Not that it's going to matter, because Gertrude's just going to get beaten to death. All right, anyway. Looking for 7s. That is 1 hit. All right, and what do we say? Wounding on a 5. He also crits on 1, I got to remember, because of the Lucky Charm. Or crits on 9. This isn't a bad reflex either. But we'll just wound anyway. So not being able to see these cards is really throwing me off. I hope I'm doing it right. That's everybody. Had a decent round. I think I messed that up again. Oh well. All right, first card. Oh shit. All right, Gertrude's dead. Let's see what happens though. I need all 5 dice now. Hitting on 6s. That is only 2 hits. Not bad. One of them is blocked. So we're rolling damage on the body. And here's where things get tricky. That is a bleed. 1 more bleed and she's straight up dead. So we're only rolling 2 dice. We need both of these to miss or she's just straight up dead. Nope. Doesn't matter what else happens. She's going to gain her 5th bleed and die. So that's bad for a number of reasons. Because now he has permanently +1 movement, +1 speed. This does go away. So he'll lose the ones, but gain some of them back. Back up to 6. So this is now 6. Oh boy. All right. All right. 2 more endeavors. Go team. All right. Still has 1 card left. Rami, you should do your best, bud. So 3 dice, hitting on 7s. No hits. We're back in business. We got this. No sweat. 6 wounds. We could do this, right, team? We could do this. This isn't impossible. Not looking great, but it's not impossible. All right. So we gotta do this deal. All right. So I think we will start off with our boy Daniel. Looking for those 7s. Good job, Daniel. And we will Bone Blade this time with Rami. Looking for 6s. Sweet. Great turn. Great round, guys. We don't got this. I'm beginning to think we don't got this. All right. All right. First attack. Gaze of Truth. All right. Well, that's all right. Let's roll first. Yep. All right. So that's the end of our last sane person. It takes a brain damage. Gets 2 understanding. That's nice. He is knocked down, so that's unfortunate because we cannot stand him up anymore. Random disorder. Monster panic. Whenever you suffer brain damage. Oh, oh, that's bad. That's bad. All right. And then frenzy triggers. So he'll get 3 insanity. Perfect. And he'll get his tokens. Well, he can just have Gertrude's tokens because she doesn't need them anymore. I think I've been forgetting some bleed. I don't remember. That's that. So you still got to draw 1 more card. Oh, no. Poor Daniel. Oh, Daniel, you ain't gonna make it, buddy. Oh, we're wiping. We are wiping. 5 speed. Hitting on 5s for Daniel. 1, 2, 3, 4 hits. Waste body, waste hands. Okay. Light wound, heavy wound, light wound. I don't think it's going to matter. He's knocked down. And he gains a bleed. Here, have one of Gertrude's bleeds. Oh, we're so screwed. So that's 4 more attacks coming in. I believe that's a 6. So 2 more hits. Legs and head. We're not dead yet. 2 more. Both hits. Body and hands. All right, so that's a severe injury to the body. With a 6. Disemboweled, your movement is reduced to 1 until the showdown ends. Not terrible, because he's our ranged guy. Gain a bleed. Oh, that's... I think I forgot to add in bleeds. That's the 3rd attack. Plus, Daniel's just dead. He dies from bleed. He turns into 2 endeavors. I have no idea what happens. Plus 2 damage tokens? Oh no! Rami! Rami, you gotta... Oh boy. Oh, this fight went so bad. I just didn't have weapons. I wasn't able to deal enough damage. I ain't gonna be back for long, Lantis. All right, so let's just see what happens. Right, that's all that. That's the end of the monster's turn. Rami can't do anything. I'm doing my best, Lantis. This campaign in general has not been going in my favor. I thought we were doing all right, but then we turned out to not be doing all right. But we're just going to keep pushing, see what happens. So we'll go back around to the monster's turn where Rami will stand up. And then we get 2 more cards. You've got to be kidding me. All right. So that's another 2 movement and another speed. Alrighty. Hugh. Okay. So it's 3 dice hitting on 6s. It's going to be 5 damage per hit. Oh no. As 1 hit. So he's taking 5 damage to his body. This may shock you. That's going to end up in a severe injury. A 10, not bad. Bowled over, the blow sends you sprawling and you're knocked down. Well, he was knocked down anyway. He does get a bleed. Oh, it's being especially mean tonight. It has been very mean tonight. But unfortunately, we just came into this fight underprepared. We just didn't have weapons, and the one person that did have a weapon died immediately. All right. Yeah, already knocked down. Okay. So we get 1 more card. It's a hack. So 3 speed, hitting on 7s. That is 1 hit, so that's another 5 damage to the body. Oh no. With a 1, which would be a death. But we're going to use our reroll. For a 4, he lives. Gaping chest wound, -1 permanent strength, and a bleed. So that's going to be 2 bleed, and he bleeds out. The game got offended by my extended leave, but I think my extended leave also has me being a bit rusty. Because, yep, that's it. Rami's just going to bleed out because he's going to take 1 bleed from the chest wound and 1 bleed from the attack. Rest in peace, my boy. 2 more endeavors. I don't know what we're going to do with them all. We're just going to go kill some more people, try to make babies, probably. All right, so that's that. Oh, boy. And we're not done yet, either. Showdown. Butcher. All right, so Aftermath. Defeat. The Butcher rampages through the settlement. Everyone escapes into the darkness until it leaves. But all resources and settlement storage are lost. I don't think we had anything anyway. Oh, we had a few things. Well, not anymore. Goodbye. At least we don't have to worry about Gorm climate this year. Yeah. So that's that. Everybody died. Rocks fall, everybody dies. We got butched. All right, moving on. Settlement phase. Gain endeavors. Yep. Update timeline. We've got a lot going on the timeline this year, I think. I forgot to check off last year. We should have Gorm climate this year. Forgot about that. So settlement event and then Gorm climate. Unfortunately, we're not going to get to see the Flower Knight or the Lion Knight because we ain't got much left in the tank here. So first of all, Gorm climate. What button do I press again? View deck is V. If that's how I've forgotten. There's our Gorm climate. All right, so nothing really too terrible to worry about here. I'd like to keep a die up here for this. The big ol' 7. We do not have Hovel. Correct. The echoing cries carried on the wind wear out the returning survivors. What returning survivors? Reduce their insanity to 0. Must skip the next hunt phase. You got it. Technically, we had Gorm climate to the next year. There ain't going to be a next year. And then I should have drawn a random one first, but whatever. Murder. Neat. Perfect. Someone in the settlement has been murdered. The survivor with the highest hunt XP is the victim. Well, we ain't got a lot of options. It's going to be... Oh, it's going to be poor Hilda. Hilda got murdered. The murderer is the survivor with the highest insanity. I don't know if that got... Again, things got a little messed up. Got how much here? 1 insanity on Marco. Oh, there we go. 2 insanity on Darren. Darren murdered Hilda. Select the table that corresponds to your settlement society principle. We haven't gotten there yet, so... All right, so Hilda's just dead. Archive her. Rip. No society principle, so we just roll a d10 with an 8. The murderer is heralded as the fiercest warrior in the settlement. They gain +1 permanent strength, +1 courage and understanding. Skull helm. Oh my god, he's wearing Hilda's head around. And add this to the settlement time. Okay, so 1 strength. 1 courage. Understanding. And a skull helm. That's actually helpful. There you are. So we got something out of this here. Yep. Cannot wear armor at the body location. All right, well, you can still come out for one more fight. The game decides to make upgrades just to put you on tilt while you're away. I mean, everybody in the party died in combat. Meanwhile, back at the settlement, Darren chopped off Hilda's head and turned her into a hat. As you do. Which, while I'm thinking of it, let's go ahead and clean up some character sheets here. Okay. There's that. Update the death count. Yeah, that went up notably. Check milestones. Nothing of note. Develop. All right. So here's where we're at. The settlement is screwed. What I would do is just spend all of these on trying to make babies. Coming back from extended vacation. Here's what we're going to do. Next week, we're starting campaign 4. But this week, there is still something we can do because we've got this fruit hanging around. And I'm going to cheat for fun. We should have eaten this fruit before the butcher fight. I forgot. I'd already set up the butcher. I didn't want to rewind that much. Which means technically this should have been in our storage and should have been destroyed by the butcher. I don't want to do that. I want to just see what this does. It involves us fighting the tree. I know that much. So we're going to go fight the tree, see what that is. We don't have any resources to make anything interesting out of. We're just going to load up some survivors over here. Oh, that archived the token as well. Interesting. Oh no, I archived a die. Come back. So we're just going to kind of speed run, setting all this up. I'm going to have a ton of cleaning up to do over the weekend to prepare for next week's stream. Because there will be a stream next week. I shall return. What else have we got over here? We got some of these guys. Boop. And one of these. So we will just toss this skull helm on the rib blade and call it done for setup. Gonna need some folks. Darren's gonna be one of them. Darren is gonna have his skull helm and the rib blade, as all proper murderers do. No, Darren's coming with us. Darren... Well, maybe. I still don't know what happens here. we got a handful of folks. None of them are in prime fighting shape. But we can at least assemble a team of 4 to go out there and have some fun. And that's what we're going to do. All right. So let's just eat the lonely fruit. Yeah, so let's hand wave this away. We're just moving forward with whatever this is. And that's how we're going to pad out the last half of this stream. So if you'll excuse me for just a minute, going to take a short break. And then when we come back, we'll see what this does. So please enjoy yourselves a little sip of water, a little breather, and I'll see you. This is going to be a real quick one because there's not a ton of setup to do, I don't think, and be back in just a few.